Welcome to another episode of Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt Dog. I'm Who You With, Kurt Dog. Want to welcome everybody to the show tonight. What is it? Tuesday night? Yeah, Tuesday night. Man, my days are all off. Want to welcome all our listeners on the platform. You see the title in the chat. Um, who are you voting for? Are you voting Democrat, Republican, or Independent? Well, tonight, um, a young lady who I'm friends with on Facebook, she basically um, have her opinion, and that's what the show is for. You can have your opinion about whatever. We're gonna bring her on, but she made some comments on Facebook. I actually responded back to them, and don't really agree with everything she said, but so we decided to come together and have open discussion about it. So I want to welcome Miss Trina Jackson to the show. Welcome, Trina. Thank you for coming on tonight.
Yes. Thank you for inviting me.
No problem. Um, as you heard the introduction, um, a couple of comments you made on Facebook, and I we talked back and forth on Facebook about them, and um, one of the ones was talking about the Biden Harris ticket, and I made a comment about that, and we discussed it, and we talked about. Um, you gave your opinion of it. I gave my opinion of it. You can also chat live with us in the chat room tonight. Um, so basically, uh, the statement you said was funny that Kamala Harris is married to a white man, and some black people are rooting for her. If she were a black man married to a white woman, y'all niggeros would not even vote for her. If she were a man um, shaking my damn head, y'all just want to drink the Kool Aid. And as for me, I actually said, uh, ooh, I forgot. I didn't print that part out. Well, I actually made a comment and I said, I don't, as for her record, who she's sleeping with, I didn't care. And I've said that on my show several times. And want to have an open discussion about the fact and you don't really want to support Biden Harris, and um, I would like to know why. And let's have an open discussion about it.
Okay. My views about Biden and Harris is this. My view is basically I'm looking at the track record of the Democrats. Black people have been rolling with the Democrats since basically the 60s. Now it's 2020. Our inner cities still look bad. We're still at the bottom of the barrel. We barely have any wealth. We barely have two-parent households. Black folks still cannot get loans from banks to start businesses. And since we've been riding with the Democrats since the 60s, what in the hell have they done for black people? Where are the changes? Because me personally, I used to be on the Democratic plantation. I got off the Democratic plantation when the second term Obama got in office. I was happy. I was excited. We got a black president, thinking he was going to do something for the black community. All I heard Obama talk about is LBGTQ and immigrants, and basically ignored us. Now this time we have Kamala Harris and Biden. Okay, what exactly are you going to do for the black community specifically? None of them really believe in reparations. Kamala Harris basically said no. Bernie Sanders, when he was running, no. AOC doesn't believe in it. And Biden was saying something similar to like minority reparations, not just black.
Okay, you're saying a lot. I want to try to hit on everything that you're talking about.
Yes.
Okay, uh, first of all, let's go back to the beginning of it. You said a lot of people are on the Democrat plantation. Um, I wouldn't say a Democrat plantation for the simple fact we have the right to vote for whoever we want to vote for, regardless if it's Democrat, Republican, or Independent. Um, but when you talk about the communities, see, that's where I feel we as the people need to take charge of our communities. And that's why it's very important to vote our local election and not just the federal election. We need to vote local for we can uh, let our voice be heard at the polls for when our local election elected officials, they have to make a change. And if they not for our community, whoever is representing that community, we need to get them out of office. That's like here in Dallas. Um, we have a long time um, councilman, John Riley Price. Back in the 80s, he used to get out by himself downtown, and he would get out and he would go out there and protest and march by himself. And now he's been in politics here in Dallas for a very long time, and he have made a lot of difference in his community. He was the one when we seen on the news. He was basically going down there with his picket sign and uh, back then they was tights, but have a and he was out there saying no justice, no peace, and he took a stand, and that's a great leader that is here in Dallas. We need more leaders like that for the simple fact a lot of people they don't want to vote. They only want to vote when it come down to the presidential election. Uh, when jury duty come around, they don't want to go serve on the jury duty, which make a difference. And then when the census come around, they don't want to fill that out either. So if you're not filling these things out and taking a part of these things, people would not know what that community need. Because when you do these things, they know you have people that is that is very concerned about what's going on in their neighborhood. As long as you don't do those things, they don't care. As long as they keep getting elected, but it's up to us, the people, to take a stand and make a choice to say, "Hey, this is what we need." That's why I talk about on my show about um, we need to get to know our city councilman, get to know our mayor, chief of police. We need to know all of this and let our voice be heard because if something happened in the community, we need to be outraged. And I'm not just talking about outrage when a policeman kill a black man. I'm talking about if they kill a white man, and also if Bebe is doing crimes in our neighborhood, we need to get them out. We need to report them and don't be a part of it. So that's what would make a change. So until then, we cannot blame our elected officials if we're not doing what we need to do. Welcome to the show, T Cal. Um, Thank you for always tuning in. But that's where we need to start at. And I know we've gone back and forth about Biden Harris, and I'm aware of the record. I'm aware of Harris' record about um, the many people she put in jail. but she was a prosecutor. That was her job. She cannot say, well, I'm not going to send them to jail because they black. And then on top of that, she also, um, besides doing her job, why were the people in front of the court system in the first place? They was the ones that actually um, did something to get them in front of her. So, and it's up to the jury. That's why, once again, it's important to go to jury duty, because the jury duty would make a difference, and they decide what type of time a person can get. If it's a trial by jury, she just have to present the case. So I cannot get upset at her for doing the job that she was doing, and I would never get upset at her for it. Welcome to the show, Latanya Holloway. Um, Says she's a liberal, like some things that the Republican value and some of the Democrat value. Definitely right. Um, we believe in less powerful federal government, strong civil liberation of drug laws, etc. You are right, because it's it's some things good. Everybody who's on the Republican is not bad. Everybody who is on Democrat, uh, they don't they not bad either. But they also, we have to have the right people that is actually going to be for the people, and not just one demographic of folks. Basically, no leader can go in there and say, I'm only going to be for black folks, I'm only going to be for white folks, even though we see a lot of that with even our local our government here in Texas. We see that a lot, because here it is, when Greg Abbott changed his executive order, it had nothing to do um, with black people. That was to cater to somebody who vote for him. So, um, yes, it is. There are streamers on all sides. So, so with that being said, we need to look at leaders that are going to be fair for everyone. And people say all the time, and even you just mentioned it about President Obama um, coming into when he was elected the second time, you changed your mind because you felt like he didn't do enough for black folks, and he was working with the LGBTQ, uh, um, and the uh, and also immigration, but he cannot go in and say, I'm only going to deal with my folks.
I know that, but we're he got like over 60% of the black vote. I understand the president is supposed to help everybody. That's no doubt. But when you have 60% of the black vote, then that means, damn it, you need to do something for your people as well.
I don't.
He had a lot of black votes, and a lot of black people put him in office. And I want to know, what was he didn't do a damn thing for us.
Well, I'm like this. I don't know about the percentage wise, but I know there was a lot of young white people that voted for him too. And I know for myself, when I first heard of him, which I had the opportunity, um, him and Michelle Obama came to the church and had the opportunity to see them. But at the same time, this was before he became um, ran for president. Now, when he first came in, I'm like, okay, I didn't know nothing about him. I'm like, all right. But then when I started hearing about him more, I'm like, whoa, this dude is for real. Um, and then on top of that, uh, you're exactly right, Latanya. Um, he was limited by Congress what he could do. So that's why they refused to let him leave there with a president that got everything passed that he tried to get passed. And they came out and said that it was only one thing he tried to get passed. They refused to pass it. But once again, we cannot expect for a leader to come in and just automatic change everything for one particular community. Now, in the history of America, yeah, they always been looking out for white folks. Yes, they have. But you cannot expect anybody to come in and just say, hey, I'm only going to look out for the black community.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of things America should have done by now for the black community. But once again, we have to do something to change that ourselves. And not only that, when you look at the news, you only hear about um, the crimes that black people do, but white folks commit quite a bit of crimes too. So it's a lot involved with it. So we have to change that they mindset. And I think with Biden Harris, this is going to be very interesting. I've said all the time on the show. Right now, they are the best ones to be able to beat Trump. I'm not married to neither one of them, but they are the best ones to beat Trump right now. So when it come down to it, um, in 4 years, if they win in 4 years, if they um, if they don't do anything for the black community, or if they not doing the right things, come 4 years from now, I'm gonna be looking at, okay, who do we have to beat them? They have to do something to to make a difference with the police killing, the unnecessary killing of unarmed people. They need to get something passed in the law to make sure the cops are held accountable. That's kind of like earlier this year. We talk about it on the show all the time about the difference between black people and white people, two different justice. Um, White person can go out, fight a cop, shoot at cops. They walk away scotch free,
Yeah.
no injuries, no nothing. Black person do it, they don't even have to do it. They just show them their license, they might get shot. Well, earlier this year, and I forgot about this story, I think it was in January or something, in Maryland, a police officer, a black police officer, shot and killed a unarmed black man that was handcuffed in his car. Shot and killed him 7 times. He shot him 7 times and killed him. They immediately pressed him with charges with murder. But here it is, this cop that lied on Breonna Taylor, and we can't even get a conviction. Can't It won't even get charges filed against him, and she was in a bed fleet. And then on top of that, they try to get the boyfriend to say, "Hey, this is if you lie for us, we'll give you a reduced sentence if you lie on her." So with all that being said, that's why we need to change the laws. So, but you could go ahead with the other points you made because I don't want to just want us to be able to have a dialogue with this situation and see what else is on your mind. You said a lot of things. You talked about um, the March on Washington also. Um, you said it's not a economic agenda for the black community at the March on Washington, and I want to know what was your thought about that topic.
Well, I thought it's like, okay, we're having a march and we're marching about these police shootings. Okay, fine. But
No, it,
after all these speeches that everyone said, where was the economic agenda? Where was the plan? It's just too much talking and not enough action.
well,
We're at a time where all this that the black community is going through has one
but
thing to do with we don't own and control nothing. We're powerless.
Okay, but hold on, Trina.
Okay, oh, go ahead.
That march was to celebrate 57th year of the Dr. King March on Washington.
Yes.
It wasn't about the black shooting, but as you can see, the same reason why they had that march years ago was
Mm-hmm.
because of the racism that
Mm-hmm.
happened. And here it is, 57 years later, we still having to do the same thing. So that march was not necessary about um, the black economic agenda, because we have to take the first step and um, make a change in our own economics. But go ahead and finish. I just wanted to make sure we're putting out correct information. That March was the celebration of the 57th anniversary of Dr. King March.
Yes, but we need an economic agenda. And I don't understand why there is no economic agenda in place where we as a black community can fund it and we can get some things done. I think the reason why black people go through a lot in this country is due to not us having any type of economic power whatsoever. In this country, this is a capitalistic country. Money talks and BS walks. We have to, and Dr. Claude Anderson has been talking about paradigms since forever. And, he basically has said you have to buy the court system and the police department. And we have to do things to get, like you said, policies change, put these policies change in our favor so we can stop a lot of these police shootings.
Okay, so now when you say by the court system and the police department, it expand on that a little bit, because that would be legal to buy a politician, which we hear about corrupts all the time. But the best way we can buy it is get out and vote, because those judges that are sitting on the court, we have the option of putting them in there. When they come around for election, that's why we need to get out and vote locally. See,
Hmm.
that's where a lot of our laws are made,
Okay.
because people don't want to get out and vote. Welcome to the show, Michael Randall Smith. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Um, so with these laws, we actually need to get out and vote local. Every
Yes.
time a local election come around, they talk about how low the count is for votes. That's because we don't want to get out and vote. People overlook the local election, but technically, that's where our laws are made at. Because when you have people that look like me goes into the court system, but guess what? If it's a judge that took off their white robe and put on a black robe, he don't give a damn about me. And basically, what's going to happen? He's going to give me the max sentences. Um, Michael Randall Smith said, "Yes, sir." So it's definitely, people have to take the local election very serious. Get out and vote. I'll vote in every election that come around. I don't care what it's for. I'm going to vote. Um, we have to vote. That's how we can change those laws. As for the court system, because if we're not voting, and if our white counterparts are going out and vote, well, guess what? They're going to vote people in that had the same thought pattern like them. So we have to change that. That's how we change the laws here locally, and it will go up because we won't stand for it. Um, Latanya Holloway made a comment. Um, Said, first, we need a balance in wages and fair mortgage rate so that we can save up and buy our own land and create business. You're exactly right. See, that's another problem. Texas is one of the lowest paying minimum wage states. I feel like minimum wage need to be raised. But once again, when you have a governor that is a leader that is all about money and his friends who voting for him,
Mm-hmm.
they don't give a damn about the poor folks. They don't care.
Mm-mm.
So what's gonna happen? They're gonna say, "Hey, leave the minimum wage at 7.25. We can make more money." And what needs to happen? It should be a starting minimum wage at least. I feel like $15 should be a good start. Yeah, they won't make as much profit, but at the same time, people are able they not living for say paycheck to paycheck, and that's the problem because if you making 7.25 and you have to decide if you want to provide food, if don't get sick or need medication, you don't have enough to survive. So then what happened? You have to go and be on government assistance. Um, and that's the trap that they put you in. So you have to um, you have to start locally. We change the local officials first, then it will go up. I say it all the time. Greg Abbott got to go. Ken Patrick Patson got to go. I call them the Three Stooges. All three of them need to go. They have to go because they haven't done anything for us. Look how they did this pandemic. They wanted to rush and open everything back up because that clown up in the White House won't. That's what he want them to do, but not looking at our well-being.
Nope,
And
he's not. Because we nothing needs to be opened back up because this pandemic, it's taken out what 170 what are they 190,000 something people.
yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of people have lost their lives. Um, I know some people that have actually uh, got the virus. Uh, they have survived. I know at least four people that had it, and they
Uh-huh.
have survived. And then I know a lot of my followers have lost family members due to it. Some of my followers have lost family members back to back. And the problem is because we have some dumbass leaders in the White House and in Texas, and neither one of them do not want to take a stand and say, hey, do what's right. Listen to the doctors. And that's the reason why we're paying them all that money. Let them do their job. So, but I think you was finna hit on another point also. Um, you talk about the economic agenda, um, and you talked about we shouldn't just vote Democrat. I know most of my followers they do not vote just because it's Democrat or Republican. Uh, we vote for the best interest for our household, and because of that, we have to take a stand and make a choice and vote for who you feel that is best for you and your household. Um, as for Trump, he got to go. He need to go. He have to.
Yes, he need. I think, but see, also I would like to say it's time for the black community to really unite and come together. I think we need to, like other groups in this country, pull their money and their resources together. I think that's a problem that we have. We are too individualistic in this country. In this day and age, the black community cannot afford to be individualistic anymore. We have to start pulling our money and our resources together. We have to start businesses. We have to start building wealth. We have to start pulling so we can compete with other groups and we can compete because we're not competing and we have the money. It's reported we have $1 trillion in spending power. So we must start practicing group economics.
Well, the problem is with that, and I I feel like some groups can work together, but what happened is because we've been trained to have this crab in a bucket mentality.
Yes, I
So
agree.
because of that, uh, instead of everybody coming together, everybody want to be the chief, and it can't happen like that. I know I've been burnt on business deals. That's why the only person I will go into business with is only my wife. And not only that, it's as for trying to pull our money together and compete against other race, I'm like this: if you see somebody else doing something, find a different way of doing it and come up with a plan for yourself. Because that's kind of like I seen this guy today um, on my way home. Seen this guy. He was um, driving down the car, that driving down the street, and he actually had uh, kind of a, I guess it was a SUV, uh, and he had it full with lawnmower equipment.
Hmm.
And I'm like, man, just that quick second I seen him, I was like, you know what? That's uh that's a wonderful thing. Had stuff hanging out the window, trying to transport everything. But here it is, this man doing everything he can to make a living. He's not waiting for somebody to come and knock on the door and give him a handout. He's creating a life for himself, and so basically what he's doing is he's not going to wait for somebody. And that's one of the problems I see all the time, because a lot of time we get in a habit where we sit around and wait for somebody to do something for us. Instead, we need to get in a habit of saying, you know what, I'm not going to wait. I'm going to go ahead and do what I have to do to start a business. I don't care if it's going to the grocery store and making some lemonade and tea and selling it. Sell it and make it different than anybody else. Sell it, and then once you get that money, reinvest that money back into that company until you're able to get a location. And a lot of people don't want to do the hard work. They expect to just come in right away and go. Instead of starting at the bottom, they want to go straight to the top, and we can't do that. It's a process. We have to be able to work our way up. If you talk with a billionaire, they didn't start at the top. Uh, they started at the bottom and worked their way up, and that's where we have to do. Um, I try to. I'm like, hey, I've had people tell me all the time, man, you have a lot of confidence in yourself. I'm like, hell, if I don't, nobody else will. So if I'm gonna do something, they can never say I didn't try it. I did it. And if it don't fail, okay, I come up with another way, and come up with a way of doing it. Welcome to the show, Charles Hunt. That's a longtime listener out of California. Um, Want to welcome you to the show. Said he's enjoying the show tonight. I appreciate you for always tuning in and being a part of it. Uh, y'all like and share with a friend, and let them know we are on. We here with Trina Jackson. Um, she's on the show tonight because she made a couple of posts on Facebook that we had a couple of dialogues, so we decided to uh, bring it to the floor tonight and have an open discussion about it, because it may be other people that feel the same way about people just want to vote Democrat, and people may have problems with Biden and Harris, but instead we should talk about it. I'm like this. This election is very important. How they said in the past, our life depend on it. Well, it really do depend on it now. And what we have to do is also we need to get Trump out of office, because if not, we may not make it another 4 years. Because he don't care. He's trying everything he can to win this election. Everything, messing with the post office, talking about mail-in ballots. Be a lot of fraud. He even went to the fact of telling people in North Carolina to vote twice, knowing that's illegal. So he's trying to get them to go to jail with him, because he going to prison. He's going. He's gonna go to prison as soon as he get out of office.
What do you think about like a lot of these black people when they withhold votes from us and like I think it happened in Florida some years ago where blacks vote and they threw their votes away and then there's a lot of black people when you go to prison you get out a lot of them are not allowed to vote. Like if you get out of prison, you have to. It's a process. So when election time comes, you can't vote.
Okay,
So that hinders a lot of black people too, and particularly black men.
okay. So the first question, I want to make sure I understand this good. You said in Florida, where black people are holding out votes, or are the election department itself holding it out?
The election department. I
Okay.
heard stories about they vote and then the votes didn't count. It's like,
But see, I don't know Florida laws. We normally have listeners from Florida, and if you are on, please, and if you know how your voting rights are in Florida, let us know, because I know during what was it, Bush, uh, had the low chads hanging on, and they had a recount. Uh, that's politics. That's because they understand the black vote is powerful.
mm-hmm,
That's why they try not to. They've tried for many years to keep us from voting.
mm-hmm,
Just like on the show, Risky, we brought up several stories where they actually, uh, where it wasn't Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It was somewhere else where I think it was in North Carolina or South Carolina, where that was another kind of like a Black Wall Street, and they had a lot of black politicians during that time. Blacks was in power in those, and I think it was Wilmington, if I'm not mistaken. They was in power, and what the white people did, they basically prevented the black people from voting in that next election. They intimidated them, talking
mm-hmm,
about killing them if they vote, and because of that, that's how they end up losing that election. So they're gonna try to intimidate us not to vote. And if anybody has been told they cannot vote during the election, you need to call your Secretary of State immediately and make sure they get somebody out there to find out what's going on. Now, as for ex offenders, I say on the show all the time, if you are a felon, go to vote.org. If you are not paying, you have paid all your dues, you're not on probation anymore, most states will give you your rights back to vote. Go to vote.org and you can check that information out on there. You answer a couple of questions and you'll know within 30 seconds if you're able to get your voting rights back. Just fill out all the form and it will tell you that. And so some people, they just feel like, oh, I'm an ex-con and I'm off paper. I don't want to deal with it. Well, you need to change that mindset and go ahead and find out if you can vote and vote. And some people, they get discouraged about being in long lines. Uh, we hear all the time, "My vote don't count," but we also got to realize that if our vote don't count, they wouldn't be trying so hard to prevent us from voting. So, for years, century, they have done this. Try not to get us to vote. Um, try to keep us from going to the poll, and then they turn around and talk about lynching us, killing our ancestors if they voted, taking their homes away from them, beating them, whatever they wanted to do to put that fear in us. But here it is in 2020, that's not going to work. So we as a people need to stand up straight and do what we need to do. We need to vote, not just the presidential election, but for our local election.
Yep.
That's where a lot of people don't understand. Our laws are made with the local election. So definitely get out and vote. But go ahead, what you were finna say?
Yeah, so you basically answered my question about the voting. Yes, but definitely we're gonna definitely have to get out there and do something because these police shootings are really getting out of hand. And another thing too, we as the black people in this country, we need to learn self defense. We have no weapons. Where are our guns at? When these white supremacists come at us, we just getting our ass whooped left and right. I
Well,
mean, where are our guns?
okay.
Where are karate? Do we know karate? Are we taking karate lessons or anything? I mean, where's our self defense training at? So we can
Well,
defend ourselves.
well, first of all, we cannot wait for somebody to do that for us. So we have to take the step. Matter of fact, I just seen a couple here in Dallas that actually started a training. I forgot the name of it, just seen it briefly. But you could train in your backyard if you cannot if you cannot uh, afford to go to a gym or something. Shadow box, whatever you have to do. Now, as for guns, everybody mentally is not able to carry a gun,
Yes.
because that's the reason why we have a lot of school shootings,
Mm,
because we have some mental illness folks with guns. They listen to everything that someone tell them and they take it to heart.
mm,
So um, I, I apologize, Dark Sage. He's actually watching on Twitch. Said he have an interesting question for you guys. Uh, Go ahead and ask your question. I will answer it. Um, so definitely ask your question. I apologize. You asked that a while back and I didn't see it. We had so many questions to come in, so many comments to come in. So definitely, if you have a question, definitely go ahead and ask if you're still listening. Um, but as for guns, nobody not going to come and just give you a gun. You have to get your background check done, and don't just buy a gun. Get certified for you can carry a concealed weapon. So don't just say, "Oh, I got this gun, I'm gonna carry it," but you're not licensed to carry it, because that's gonna cause more problems. And then you get stopped. Well, guess what? You going to jail, and guess what? It's gonna be a felony, and you won't be able to carry a um, a gun anymore. So, and that's one of the thing that um, a lot of the bad cops have done, planting guns on young black people. Some put like this: back in the earlier days, they put drugs in our neighborhood, they
mm.
put guns in our neighborhood. Then they turn around and arrest the people with them, and guess what? They have a felony, and
Yep.
now they can no longer vote. They can no longer uh, be able to get a license to carry because of it, because they have a record. Then on top of that, it keep them on some jobs. It'll keep them from getting hired on a job. So
Mm.
that's the things that um, that's the thing that we have to be concerned about. So we cannot expect for someone to just give us a handout from the economic. hey, we got to come up with a plan ourselves, and you can't wait for a group of people to do it. We
Nope.
have to come up with a plan ourselves and come back and say, you know what, I'm gonna start this. I don't care if it's hell cleaning somebody's house.
Yep.
If you gotta go over to your neighbor house, say, hey, can I clean your house for you? Go over there and clean their house and make a little money. Then next thing you know, you're gonna have the other neighbor talking about, hey, can you come clean my house? Before you know it, you cleaning everybody in the neighborhood house, and now you have a business going just from something that you would do for your own house. So that's the type of mindset people have to have. I've always had that mindset. If you follow the show, I say it all the time. My brother and I, we growing up, we lived in an apartment complex. We would go knock on people's doors and take their trash out. On the weekend, we go to the car wash cars. Um, about 8 years old, used to work at a tire shop, D&D Tires, off of Lancaster in Dallas. Used to work there. Then I moved over to Jordan Tires. So I've I've always worked all my life. So that's the type of mindset I have because I was trained to say, hey, no matter what, I'm always gonna make my own money. But um, so I wanted us to have a dialogue about this. If just anybody have any comments, you could definitely put it in the chat. We're gonna be here a couple of more minutes. Um, also, um, Thursday night, Miss Risky will be back, and we will be trying to give out another shirt. Um, if you follow me on Instagram, uh, we may give out one tomorrow. So just follow me. Make sure you keep it in contact. If you want to buy a shirt, it's $25 each. Matter of fact, this is the shirt right here. Can't
Okay.
really see it that good, but that's our official shirts. I want to thank everyone who actually supported the show by purchasing a shirt. Too many names to name, but I really appreciate it. And um, if you want one, it's $25 each. If not, you can try to win one. Um, matter of fact, I think uh, yeah, we'll wait until Thursday night because I was gonna say we'll give out one, but we'll give out one here on Thursday night. So definitely, know what? I'm gonna ask the question. I'm gonna get one out tonight. Um, we've been talking about this and we're trying to get past it. The first person, and Risky, if you listening, no, you cannot answer. Um, the first person that can tell me how did Risky and I met and what have she inspired me to do. Put it in the chat and I will give you a shirt. So just the first person to do it and we'll go from there. But Miss Trina, was it any other question you wanted clarity on, or I hope um, hope I answered most of your questions about the post that you did. But I know you say, are you voting? Uh, are you supporting Trump, or do you have a person that you are supporting for the election? Or
I'm independent. I got to do some research on an independent candidates, and I think the independent is best for me now. That's what I like. The last election I voted for Jill Stein.
how that work out for you?
Well, she didn't win, of course, but I would just, yeah, it did. It just, I wanted something different. Just now, just
Okay. Um, I'm like this. This election is very important.
That's it.
We need everybody on deck
Hmm.
because if we vote for anybody other than um, Biden Harris, that's like a vote for Trump. Tanya Holloway talking about pick me, lot of like. Got to answer those questions. But that's like a a vote for Trump. If we uh, if we are um, I have people texting me too. Um, if we don't vote for Biden Harris because they are the best ones that have the opportunity of beating Trump, what we're gonna do, those votes that's going to someone else, it's gonna allow Trump to basically win. That's like a vote for Trump. And but you can vote for whoever you want to. But I'm just saying, I don't think we could deal with this for another 4 years. That's just like when Kanye threw his hat in the race after the deadline. He started a petition to try to get on the ballots, and as we could see in Chicago, in Illinois, a lot of those names was fake names, and he could be facing charges. I think he could get anywhere from 2 to 5 years in prison
Mm.
for falsifying those documents.
Mm.
So, and then another state, I seen it last night. Um, they removed his name off the ballot. So voting for somebody other than Biden Harris, that's basically um, a vote for Trump. That's why we need all hands on deck. We need everybody to come on one accord, and kind of how you said black people need to come together.
Yes.
Well, this is where we definitely need to come together. Unfortunately, we do have some that support Trump. I don't. Um,
A lot. Let me say this. I notice a lot of black men support Trump. I need to ask you this. I'm hearing that black men support Trump because a lot of black men say that the Democrats are about black women issues. The Democrats are more pro feminist, and the Democrats really are not for manhood, family values. They're very pro women. They're not pro family. And a lot of black men think that the Democrats have kicked the black men out of the House with their policies.
I I
And
I want to agree with that part about the fact that kicking the man out the house. See, that's part of you got to realize back in the early 1900s, even the 50s, 60s,
mhm,
the brothers was in the house, even in the 70s, and then all of a sudden it started changing. So when they started to bring the drugs in the community, that started breaking up the houses because they started arresting our mans, and even back in the early 1900s, they was killing a lot of our mans
yep,
that was in the household. So it's not the Democrat that did it. It was the racist. Ooh, it was the racist white folks that was doing those things.
mhm,
So we cannot say um, it was the Democrat. No, it was racist folks that was doing it. So that's where that came in from, and because um, exactly. Latanya said it actually changed after they got rid of manufacturing factories and stuff like that. Because when they shut a lot of those plants down, well, guess what? It became a problem because then they start offering food stamps. They start offering different things to benefit people, but the reality, it was all about that time period when it was a husband and a wife in the household. They took that away from us
Hmm.
by killing our brothers.
Hmm.
So we cannot blame Democrat. We can't blame Republican. We can't blame any of those. But what we can do, look at the history. That's why I say all the time, the history of America need to be taught in schools. Um, exactly. That's another good one. Latanya said minorities without education were not able to get a corporate job. Exactly, because eh, eh, one of the funniest things about it, you could get um, a white person that did not finish school. They go get a job, and they could be your manager, and you have a degree, a college degree. That's that good boy system. So we need to change all of that. It need to be fair. Need to be fair across the board. If a person, sometime experience is better than the education, because if somebody been doing this job a long time, know every in and outs of it, well, guess
Hmm.
what? Um, they end up coming in, and you end up training your next supervisor, and
Hmm.
you know more than him. Then the supervisor coming to you, and you still making your 7.25 an hour, and the supervisor coming to you for you can train them. That's what we need to change. But once again, we have to make a difference. Um, Latanya said trade jobs were key in the minority community. Yes, we used to have a lot of great um, plumbers, electrician. There's still a lot of black trade jobs, but we don't hear it. It's still some out, but it's not like what it used to be. Welding, uh, the manufactories, it's not like what it used to be back in the day. So that's what we need to get back to. And then we also hear Trump talking about uh, I heard him in an interview the other day talking about all the jobs that go on to China and stuff like that. Hell, is he still making his ties over there?
Yeah,
Have
and
he
that's
brought
another
them
thing.
back?
I thought they were going to bring these jobs back to America. Where are why are all these jobs leaving America? They said they were going to bring the jobs back to this country.
I'm gonna sum that up real quick. For the simple fact, if you bring the jobs to America, that's where that greed come in. At.
Hmm.
Well, you can make. You will have to pay someone here 7.25 or a little bit more.
Hmm.
But if you take it overseas and you pay
Hmm.
them 30 cents
Hmm.
and you making more profit, cheap labor always win.
Yeah.
See, Tanya and I is on the same. It's on the same page. Cheap labor, more money in their pocket. So that's because the greed that a lot of these big major companies have. That's why Trump, and I don't know if he's still getting his ties made over in China, but he's probably paying, knowing him, he probably paying 2 cents on the dollar or something.
Hmm.
Um, paying very cheap to get his ties made, then he come over here and sell them for a large amount, and that's just what he do. Um, so definitely, we need to bring the jobs back. Make sure everything that is uh, that is made here in America the way it
Because
used
we
to
need to
be.
work. We need to work. I mean, we need to bring these jobs back. You're telling people to go to school and get an education, or you're telling people to go to vocational school to learn a trade, but then you get the education, you get the trade. Where's the jobs at?
Well, hey, because that's another thing. Because a lot of them are outsourced. I know friends that have worked for major companies, and they had to make a decision. Either they went to this other country, or they was gonna lose their job, or they was able to keep their job for a certain length of time, but they had to go and train
Yes.
these other country on
Mm.
their job. Latanya said his hats are. So his hats are still made in China. But you talk about making American great again. Let's start by bringing whoever making your hat, bring it back to America. Get them made in America.
Yeah.
You're talking about making American great again. Let's do that first. Welcome, Chris Norman, to the show. Thank you for watching. Thank you for always
What do
tuning
you
in.
What do you think about? I'm just gonna have to say this. What do you think about these immigrants coming in this country, setting up shop, and getting all the jobs? But you're an American citizen and you're born and raised here, and you have the education or vocational skills, and you try to get a job, and they don't give it to you, they give it to the immigrant,
Well, first of
and you're
all,
more qualified. I'm just saying, how do you feel about that?
First of all, let's go back to the first part. You said they coming over here setting up shop. At one point, and I don't know if they still are. I will have to Google it and see. But it was an unwritten rule where a lot of immigrants they come over here, they get the grants to
Yes.
open up these business, the loans that didn't have to be paid back.
Hmm.
And I have an issue with that because here it is, right here in America. If we try to go get a loan for a house or a car, the interest rate going to be so damn high, and we're not going to be able to afford it, or they will try to disqualify us for it. And we was born and raised here, so everybody should have the same opportunity. But I also talk about it on the show all the time. A lot of these small convenience stores in our neighborhoods, if I don't get treated right, I don't spend money with them. I don't care who it is. So I'm not finna go over here because they have the mindset because of what they see Trump saying, or even before Trump, when people talk about the black community is bad and all of this. Well, it's mighty funny they want to continue to put their shops in our community because they understand the black community is very rich. We're gonna spend money, but at the same time, if they not treating our people right, we need to get them out of our community. We need to bark at them and get them out. Now, as for them coming over here and getting these jobs, it's all about cheap labor. Because if they coming from a country where they're barely making money, but they coming over here and making good money, and good money may not be good to you and I, but if somebody is paying them, uh, welcome to the show, Melvin Porter. Thank you for watching. If somebody is paying them $7.25 an hour, and they was used to making uh, less than $1 an hour, what are you gonna do? You're gonna take that job. That's why a lot of them they have they live in a community. It may be multiple families in a household until they able to get on their feet. So we have to be able to change all of those. Yes, um, I feel like what Trump done with the kids at the border never should have happened. You don't separate kids and then have them in cages. So, but once again, that's Trump. And The way I feel about it, I feel like if we really want to make America great, give us the opportunity to do business and have a legit business and be able to grow it and give back to our community. Unfortunately, a lot of these foreigners that come over, unfortunately, they don't. Um, a lot of them don't pay taxes because sometimes they go out and get jobs and they get paid cash money.
Mm.
Never heard of them. So I was on a jury duty one time, and the judge was a was a, a Hispanic judge, and this guy came in. He was being evicted, unfortunately, but he was he didn't speak English, and the judge said, I cannot translate for you." And he asked him, "How long have you been here?" Well, his kids have been here, finished school, grown. Think he had been here for like 40 years. And the judge asked him, "So you don't speak English? You been here that long? You haven't tried to speak English?" So that's a problem within itself. Now, I'm not saying everybody is like that, but you have to, we as the people have to do something to make these business up for ourselves and come back in our neighborhood instead of having the foreign shops that don't care anything about us. Start putting black business in there. We need black grocery stores in our neighborhood
We need
because
everything. We grocery stores, schools, corporations. We just need everything. We need to, like I said, that crab and barrel mentality because we don't pull our money. That's the problem because we have the
well,
money. We're
you keep
driven strong.
saying pull our money together, but at some point we have to take a stand and say, you know what, I don't have much, but I'm gonna take $50, $100, and I'm gonna go
Mm,
out here and whatever I have skill set, I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna take this money, invest it into a company, and then turn around. Once you make that money back and that profit, you reinvest it and keep
mm,
reinvesting it until you have enough to get you a storefront or
mm,
whatever type of business it is. Then you just continue to reinvest that money. But sometimes, what some of us do when we have a business, we start to make money, we don't reinvest back into our business.
mm,
So you got to keep recycling that money and keep investing back into your own business. And we
mm,
cannot wait for someone else to say, "Hey, I'm I have a business or I have a business plan. I'm gonna wait for somebody to come in and do it for me." So we cannot do that. We have to take a stand and say, "Hey, I'm ready to make a difference in my life, my family life, and be able to do something yourself and not wait for somebody else." And that's a problem that we have in the black community because we've been taught to allow someone else to do it instead of going out and saying, you know what, I need to do this myself. I
yes.
need to do something to change the predicament I'm in. And because some of us get comfortable in the predicament that we're in. I've never been that type of person to be comfortable with anything I do. If it's something, even today, I'm not saying we're not nowhere near rich, but at the same time, I'm always thinking of different plans to bring another source of income in. So that's what we need to do as black people, and not feel comfortable with just waiting on someone to give us a handout. We have to do something for ourselves and want to do it. So I hope I answered that question good enough for you because with with these uh, foreigners coming over, we have them from all over come over here. The nail shops. I support a black-owned nail shop here in Dallas, Culture Nail Bar. I go there every 2 weeks. I go and get my feet done. Why? Because they do a damn good job. They don't. use a cheese grater on your feet. But see, I didn't know that. For 20 some years, I've been going to the nail shops and they've been using a cheese grater. But then again, Culture Nail Bar broke it down. They said, hey, using that cheese grater is going to cause your skin to come back thicker and it's going to be a lot more. So now I feel comfortable wearing sandals, and my wife like it because I'm not cutting up that many sheets no more. So I support black-owned business. Um, some people have a problem just because you support black-owned business. They feel like they should get a discount. Nope, you shouldn't get a discount because if you go and support another business, you're not going to ask for a discount with them. Pay the price that they have it for, support them, and keep going because you never know if you ever have a business to get started. The same person that you paid has supported in return, they'll come back and support you. So, but hey, I hope everything internet kind of messing up. Hopefully, you got a lot of questions out. I appreciate you for coming on tonight, and hopefully, you come back on again. No one answered the question tonight. We're gonna roll it over to Thursday for that shirt. Um, I don't know if it's gonna be the same question. So, but Miss Jackson, I appreciate you for coming on, and did you have anything else you wanted to hit on before we get off? Or
Oh, no, that's it. That's all I have to say.
all right. Well, I appreciate everybody from tuning in tonight. Appreciate all the comments. Um, we'll be back Thursday night with Miss Risky. She will be in our house. Um, hopefully, she's been doing a lot of writing. I talked with her earlier. She said she have been. So that would be great. Um, so, Miss Jackson, I appreciate you for coming on.
Yes.
And thank you for everybody who listened in tonight, sent the comments and the questions in. Really appreciate it. And until Thursday night, 8 p.m. Central Time, I love each and every one of you. Until then, peace.
Peace. Thank